I just said we're usually right before lunch, so we're at a different time today that worked out for our speakers, and happy to have a couple folks on, or a couple guest speakers on today to join us and share some good information. So we will go ahead and get started. Here's just kind of a lay of the land for our agenda today. We have, we'll cover I should start. I forget every time we have one of these events, I forget to introduce myself. Sarah Shakey, I'm a project manager with Otter County in our community development department. I saw a couple of new names joining today, so figured I would start with that. But yeah, I help and support a lot of our workforce development efforts and initiatives with the county. So yeah, that's where I'll start. And then we do have our OTC workforce initiative or strategy rather to cover before we jump in today. And then, like I mentioned, a couple of great guest speakers joining us to talk about some grant funding available from the Fergus Falls Chamber for area employers. I'm gonna just re-highlight, we've talked about it in the past, but it's been a while since we've talked about it, our Otter County Jobs Portal, and then M-State Career Services, and just a highlight from them and sharing some resources there. And we'll definitely have some time for Q&A and discussion at the end. So jumping right in, as I mentioned, our OTC Workforce Initiative, this is the county's strategy, all kind of encompassing workforce efforts. And that strategy is tied to what we like to think of as our three action areas of opportunities, training, and connections. That's the OTC, in addition to Ottertail County. But those three action areas being promote the availability of jobs with family sustaining wages and workforce resources throughout the county, helping employers promote their opportunities and recruit and retain workers more effectively. So kind of talking those best practices, that training area, wanting to pass all of that information along to our employers so they're equipped with that. And then the third action area where we spend a majority of our time here at the county is creating partnerships to improve occupational readiness, reduce barriers to employment, and then align skills for future workforce needs. So this is kind of the action framework that we bucket a lot of our work under. So with that, like I mentioned, our three areas are opportunities, training, and connection. So we'll kick it off with Lisa Workman from the Fergus Falls Chamber of Commerce to talk about their second year of funding, right, Lisa? This is a second year, a new one. For intern wage reimbursement. And I put in a picture here of Ottertail County's, we had 2 interns last summer that leveraged the grant that Lisa's going to talk about. So wanted to put a face to the opportunity here, and then share obviously with employers in the area who can also leverage the opportunity. So I'll turn it over to you, Lisa.
Well, thanks, Sarah. Thanks for inviting me to share. Good news. Yes, we are in our second round of a grant. Just to kind of back up things a little bit to share how we got involved with this is supporting workforce strategies has been one of the Chamber's top 7 priorities since 2021. And our members continue to tell us year after year that they struggle with recruiting and retaining quality employees. I think we hear that over and over again. About half of our 388 members plan to hire in 2025. And of those who've been in the hiring practice, more than half has said that they struggle with finding enough candidates and quality candidates with the right skills. And so we've honestly been involved with youth workforce since 2007, working with the Fergus Falls High School and the area schools on their West Central Minnesota Career Expo. And now we're pleased to share that we are in round 2 of our intern wage reimbursement. What this is we received a grant through the Greater Twin Cities United Way and the Minnesota Chamber Foundation. And the basis of it is of the Future Ready Workforce Grant is to support area employers by providing funds to help cover wages and employment expenses, whether that be curriculum, safety equipment, certifications, but to help our employers fund internships. So with that goal being kind of leveling the playing field that any size organization, whether you're 1 or 2 employees or you're 500 employees, that you can take the leap and have a paid intern on your staff. And so our first round of grants was 2023 and into 2024. We had 66 interns that were participated or funded through the program. So that's 66 paid interns over the course of that 12 months. And I think what's really interesting is that there were 11 who received job offers after that. So really want to make that goal clear and present, that we're sharing information with high school students and experiences that they may not have thought of otherwise, or that maybe they just didn't know how to get into that internship. So we've worked really closely with Eli Hill, who's the work-based learning coordinator at Fergus Falls High School. He helps us kind of sell the program and mentions it to all of those businesses and nonprofit organizations that are hosting interns, that we have funds available to help cover those intern wages. Now, we do limit it a little bit. We want to focus on careers that are in demand and that have a good paying job down the road. So we don't want to set students up for, interning in something that's not going to pay the bills for them later. And then we also surveyed kind of our members to see what were the areas that they were looking for, what were the areas of demand. So some of those areas of demand are in transportation, engineering, construction and the trades, of course, healthcare, childcare. Even though the childcare wage isn't as high, we know it's a huge demand. So we want to take advantage of every opportunity that we can to show off those careers. And so how it works is that a business, they register once they've hired an intern. It is a very small or short form, and I'm going to drop that in the chat, or the link to that. We have them sign up for it. And then at the end of the month, or the end of each month, what they do is they submit a very simple reimbursement form to us, which I'll also pop that one in there. But it's not, we try to make it very simple, like break down all the barriers, break down all the hurdles. So 2 simple forms: sign up, tell us who your intern is, give us, they need to be paid at least $14.50 an hour, and they should work at least 40 hours is the goal. And we will reimburse them, the employers, up to $500 per intern. So if they have 1 intern, they can get $500. If they have 3, they could get 15, and so on, as long as they're falling in the youth age category and that they're in areas of demand. We find that it's been very helpful, very beneficial, and not just, on the student side. Like, I've gotten to hear a number of the students who've shared their experiences where they really they were enlightened by what they saw and discovered maybe that wasn't a career that they wanted to go into, which is a good and very, I'm sure parents would agree, that's a very lucrative lesson that they learned, saving mom and dad maybe some tuition on something that they really weren't that interested in or turned off by, but also where they learned about areas that they never even considered. Like, they never even thought about it. And so we've seen both from those students as far as success stories. We've also been able to help some smaller businesses who honestly would never even thought about an intern, but they've been able to, with those funds, take someone, work with them like side by side, and teach them different areas of their business, in addition to teaching them employability skills that we take for granted. I was speaking with one business owner, and she said, I never thought I'd have to do this, but I actually taught them how to ask for a day off. Like, they had missed a cousin's wedding because they were afraid to ask for a day off. And she found out about it later, and she's like, okay, we need to, slow down the boat a little bit here, and let's talk about some of the basics. So with this wage reimbursement, they're able to afford to spend some time, a little more quality time with their interns, teaching them, some, like I said, it's the basics. It's the stuff you and I take for granted. So they're learning some employability skills. They're learning transferable skills. One restaurant said every one of her interns will leave the restaurant knowing knife skills, like having knife skills. So truly skills for life, whether they go into hospitality down the road or not, they're gonna, know what side of the blade to use. So but it's been rewarding as far as the stories that we're hearing. Like I said, we had 66 interns participate in our first round. We are now in round two, so we have another round of about $40,000 to give out in wages, and that is going on now. Businesses and employers can sign up at any time. We don't require them to be a chamber member. However, of course, we like that better, but it's not required. And we will, soon be helping employers throughout the region. Just a little preview or give you a sneak peek of information. We hope to be partnering with Lakes Country Service Cooperative to expand the dollars that we'll be able to distribute for any careers in the STEM. So science, technology, engineering, and math. If the careers fall into those categories, we may have some additional funds available for both wages, for reimbursement for employer expenses, as well as maybe some, it might be like safety goggles or safety boots or something that's required. So it's been a fun program to work on, and it's fun to hear those success stories. And I really enjoy, going to the presentations that the students give at the end of their work-based learning semester, trimester, where they're talking with such excitement about the things that they've gotten to see and do. I'm happy to take questions. I just rattled on for far too long. I apologize.
No, great information, and it's always fun to hear those stories too. There was a question in the chat from Scott up in Perham, which I think you kind of alluded to. Is the program available throughout Ottertail County, so outside of Fergus Falls?
Absolutely, yes. So we can work with employers throughout Ottertail County. And like I said, we're just working out some of the details, but soon in the 9 county region as well, where we will be able to assist people. But again, we're not we don't draw borders around the Fergus Falls Chamber and our membership. It's open to other employers as well. We want to have this be as widespread as possible, because honestly, if we've got a grant that was, step down funded from deed, if it's successful, let's implement it, let's continue to grow it. So happy to visit with either employers or, other chambers or, other groups that want to know more about it.
Good to hear. And then there's another question from Mandy in the chat. When you say 40 hours during the internship, is that for the whole time or just 1 month?
That the expectation is that it's 40 hours over the length of the internship. So, it's more than a job shadow, but less than a job. So we certainly don't want this to be funding a summer job when it's like, hey, that's just what they're doing, and it's not a career potential for that. But we also don't want, we want it to be a little more expanded than just, they spent 2 hours on a job shadowing day.
Yeah. Yep. And you said 40 hours minimum, so it could be,
Right.
way beyond that
Oh,
if you have the funding if that employer has the funding to pay the intern, they can
yes,
stay for 4 months if they wanted to.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep. And the 40 hours, you don't have to wait as an employer. You don't have to wait till you get to 40 hours to submit for reimbursement. We send out a reminder every month to all the businesses who've registered their interns with us. It just says, how many hours did they work? What was this wage? And, what's the total that you're requesting? And like today, I just signed like $1,800 worth of checks, and off they go to the employer. and they're, getting a little bit of wage reimbursement. Again, our goal is to break down that hurdle. Like, let's not make money get in the way of hiring interns and giving youth some career exploration and some experience out in the work field.
Well, and on that note, do you anticipate running out of funds, Lisa?
We hope to. To be honest, we do. So our funds in 23, 24 lasted until January of 25.
Okay.
We weren't super pushy about blasting it out there because we didn't want to disappoint anyone. But I'd be happy to go back to Greater Twin Cities United Way and ask them for more money, or again with the partnership with Lakes Country Service Cooperative and a funding stream that they have available or grant they've got available, we should be okay. So tell everyone.
Great. We're going to share far and wide then.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for Lisa? Thank you, Lisa, for sharing.
You
It's an
bet.
exciting opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions for Lisa, we're going to move on. I'm going to share just a little update and kind of refresh on our Otter County jobs portal. So if folks remember, I think it was 2021 when we originally launched the jobs portal, and it's a partnership with Otter Lakes Country Association, and really kind of leans into the resident recruitment side of their work in collaboration with the county and our resident recruitment and our workforce initiatives. So the jobs portal is hosted, it's a website hosted on Otter Lakes Country's website page. And it's a single aggregated and automatic feed of, I think the last time I looked, there was over 700 jobs available on the portal throughout the county. It's unique because it has the geographic boundaries of Otter County. So it doesn't include anything outside of the county. But the jobs listed are kind of the way I've explained it for the last several years is the jobs that are on the portal are scrubbed from other external job boards anywhere on the internet. And I kind of equate that to we have a lot of little robots that crawl through the internet and look for job postings within Otter County and then pull them into, like I said, this single aggregated feed. Um, and it's really nice because that automation means that you as the employer don't have to go through the process of sending, you know, Otter Lakes Country or trying to track down, who's the person behind this portal to post my jobs on. There's one caveat to that, which I'll get into in a minute here, but we really tried to make sure it was as robust as possible without adding an extra step for employers. Um, the one thing it does not do is the jobs portal is not an application system. So like I said, it's pulling from other external job boards into this portal and connects people to that original posting. So folks still have to go out to your website or your job board and go through the application process there. It's just they're able to find the postings in that kind of central one-stop shop for whether it's a job seeker outside of the county looking to move here, or even, folks around Otter County looking for new opportunities, they can start in this one-stop shop and start to explore all of the opportunities that are out there. So just to kind of dig a little bit deeper into what that functionality looks like of the jobs portal. So that user experience, like I mentioned, it could be, whether someone's coming from outside of the county looking for an opportunity here, or someone that's a little bit more familiar with the area and just looking for a central place to kind of browse through those opportunities. But it's similar to other kind of portals. It doesn't require any sort of sign up or account or anything like that to search through. You can browse as many opportunities as you want without having to put an email or your name or anything into there. However, you can create an account if you want to sign up for alerts or updates. So if someone is searching for a specific, say an engineering position, and they don't see anything pop up right now, they can put in their email and sign up for a job alert that when a posting is available on the site, they'll get notified of that. So that's the one kind of extra step that you can do in putting your information into there. Um, and then, like I mentioned, it's only scrubbing for those jobs within the Ottertail County geography. We really wanted to focus on our region, but not get too focused into one community. Just thinking, I think, as folks are exploring places to live and work, it's a little bit more regional than it used to be. You can live in Fergus Falls and work in Pelican Rapids. You can live in New York Mills and work in Perham. So we really wanted to expand the boundaries, but wanted to keep it focused to Ottertail County employers as well. The portal is updated every day, every 24 hours, so it hopefully is pulling in everything pretty quickly as things get posted. It's finding those and pulling them into the portal pretty quickly. And then, like I kind of mentioned, folks are able to use, there's a search bar on the jobs portal that allows you to search for a specific key term. So again, if you're looking for an engineering position, you can put in engineering into that search bar and pull up any of the results that have that key term in it. And like I said, if nothing pops up, you can then sign up, save the search, and sign up for alerts for that specific key term. Additionally, you can filter by community. If you're looking within a specific community, you can filter by company. If a job seeker is looking for a specific employer of choice, they can just go directly into that company and see those those postings there. The other one that is unique is the type of job. So we can actually filter by, whether it's a full-time, a seasonal, an internship. So thinking about, if you want to take advantage of Lisa's internship grant funds, then you can, but you're not sure how to find people, you can make sure that internship post is posted on the jobs portal and label it as an internship. So folks that are coming can filter by that and search by that. And then the final filter available is that job function. So like I said, engineering or admin or healthcare can kind of narrow down on what you're looking for there. Like I said, it's been a little while since we've talked about it, but I did just want to, assure folks it's still getting looked at quite a bit. So it was launched back in 2021, like I mentioned, but in 2024, it's still the #1 viewed page on Otter Lakes Country's website, with 46,000 views over the year. And then year to date, so far in 2025, over 1,600 users or people have gotten to that portal and clicked on a specific posting to view more, kind of read the job description, that sort of thing. From there, 275 plus people have actually clicked the apply button to be taken to that original site where the job was posted and start to go through the application process. Over 130 people have signed up for those alerts. So they, maybe didn't find what they were looking for right now, but want to stay in tune when something does come available. And then 100 plus people have used that search bar capability to look for a specific keyword or specific job that they're kind of in the market for. So it is getting looked at, it is getting used, which is really exciting to see, even though it's been around for a while now. And then just wanted to quick answer this question because this is the one question I get, probably #1 question I get about the portal is how do I make sure that my jobs are showing up on the portal? There's a couple things that that cannot be pulled into the portal. So our jobs portal robots don't work with Indeed. They don't work with Facebook, and they cannot crawl PDFs. So if the only way that you're posting your jobs is on Indeed, on Facebook, or you're uploading a PDF on your website, unfortunately the robots can't find that. And then also the other thing is if you have kind of a standard position that you're always hiring for, if you haven't renewed or reposted job within 90 days, it does fall off of the portal. So it's while it's getting updated every day, it's also eliminating jobs every day. So if something is more than 90 days old out on the internet, it will no longer pull it in just because it thinks it's expired. So those are a couple of things that when someone asks why isn't my job showing up, that I remind them of those couple of things. If you've followed all of those things and you checked and you still don't see your postings on there, we do have, I mentioned it's mostly automated, but we do have a manual way to add those jobs. So you can always just email me or email Marinopolis if you are an Otter Tail Lakes Country Association member, and get those jobs posted if you're not seeing them on there. And in that case, we would just kind of need the either a link to the posting or a short job description, and we can get that. That's also really nice for some of our smallest employers who maybe don't have a super robust website or are just using Facebook to post their job openings, that we can manually add them on the back end that way as well. So try to make it accessible for all employers of all kinds and all types, whether they're super robust with their recruitment and job posting efforts or super casual with that. So so like I said, that was the number one question that I always get, but definitely open if you do have any other questions on the jobs portal. Can answer those now, but wanted to provide a refresh and just make sure folks still know it's available and still getting used. So any questions on that before we move on to our next speaker? Kind of trying to keep my eyes on the chat, but I don't see anything. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Sue. And Sue Zern is the Career Services Director at M-State. They have a new, speaking of job posting sites, they have a new job posting site that they are newer job posting site that they're using. So wanted to invite her on to share a little bit about that, and then just more broadly what sort of career services are offered to M-State students and how employers can kind of get plugged into that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Sue can share hers, and I will turn it over to you.
All right, let's see if I can get modern technology to work for me today. There we go. Can you see my screen with my Handshake presentation?
Yeah, we're seeing
All
it, but
right.
it's not in the full presentation mode yet.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that.
Okay, that's all right.
Because then that way I can toggle between the other things that I have bookmarked.
Sure,
So
all
thank
right.
you for the opportunity to talk today to your group. I have been with M-State now for 9 years. I am Department of One. My office is located in the Moorhead campus, but I serve all of our campuses in Detroit Lakes, Wadena, and Fergus Falls, and our online learners. As you can imagine, spring is a very busy time for me because of we have a lot of students that are graduating. So almost a year ago, we launched Handshake as our new job posting site. And we're still working on getting it fully implemented. And, there's so many different things that you can do with it. But this is the place where we are directing employers to post positions that all of our students can see. So Handshake is a career platform and a job place market place for students, and they have been in existence for quite some time. But most recently, maybe in the last 3 to 4 years, they kind of tailored their services to 2-year colleges. Otherwise, their primary market was the 4-year university. So having said that, many of our partner organizations around us, our partner colleges like MSUM and NDSU, Concordia College, and I'll even say North Dakota State School of Science is also on there. But with this one account, you could set up one account and you can connect to multiple schools and post your positions. So that is kind of a handy thing if you're looking for more than one thing. As you can see here in the corner, I am on slide 3 of I'm on slide 3 of 22, but don't worry, I'm not going to share all of those. That would be just torture. But in just a minute, I will share with you a handout that has all of this information. And the links that I have would be how to create a new account on Handshake and set that up. And then there'll be some supporting slides to kind of give you some pictures and visuals. But here's a link to a help article. If you're already, or this is how you would this is where you would go to create a new account. If you already have an account, you would log in here, and to connect to our college, you would search our full name to find us. And then also I have a link to our majors and programs that M-State offers. So those are the types of things that I would send to you in an email if you wanted to connect. Just to help to get you started. Here are the Handshake articles that I was talking about, of ways that you can get started. And of course, then all of these slides here are the step-by-step instructions. They have pictures of screens and places to click. So if you're that type of user, then that would be helpful. Here's my contact information on the last slide, and I'm also going to share that with you in just a few minutes. But Handshake is the place to go. I just want to show you, this is what an employer page would look like on Handshake. Once you create your account, then you would click on here on this link. Well, there you go, because I have a sample account. That's where you would go to start to post a position. You can also create an event. So if you had like an info session, you wanted to talk about your company, you could create an event and invite all the different schools. And I'm not quite sure how those really work or how well attended those really are. But this is the place where you would go to create a job. Okay. The one thing about Handshake is when you create an employer account, there is only one account for your whole business. And whoever sets up that account is the designated owner of the account. But multiple people can have an account and they can post their own positions. So the account owner would approve them and give them rights or rights to be able to post or to do different things on the website. It's quite a robust website. So one account per company or business, multiple owners, or one owner, multiple users. So that's how that works. And then you can connect to multiple schools. So you can find M-State, and then you can also connect to other schools. Hang on. And this is what a student would see. This is the student site, and this is where they would find different jobs. And at a glance, this is what a job would look like after you put in all of your information. There'd be a summary, talks about what you're looking for as far as graduates and majors, talks about what the benefits are. They have a connection here. You can ask Laura, and then gives you more information about the employer and so forth. So this would be the student side where they would go to look for different jobs. Does anybody have any questions about Handshake?
So I saw a button on the last page that said something about register for a fair. So does that allow employers to, if a school is hosting a career fair, does that allow employers to kind of go in that way? Okay.
Yep. And so sometimes, and if you were to, like, even at NDSU or MSUM had a fair that was open, not by invitation only, then you could register for that fair. So at M-State, I don't do general job fairs anymore. I found it to be, we do networking events by industry area. So for example, our diesel technology program, we invite up to 14 employers to come in. And it's kind of like a speed dating event where students are broken into small groups. And after they hear an overview from a company, a group visits each employer. So they circulate around like speed dating. And I found that to be much more effective. Students are asking better questions. Employers are having better engagement than a fair where people just kind of mill about. So I'm not doing general fairs anymore, but I'm doing industry specific fairs. However, we do promote opportunities. So if there is a community fair and if it looks like the jobs are related to majors, like they're professional jobs, then by all means send them my way and I'll be happy to promote it to our college campus. And typically when I promote things like that, I promote to our whole college because sometimes a student might be affiliated with the Fergus Falls campus or they might live in Fergus Falls, but their classes are probably on the Moorhead campus, for example, and vice versa. So I do promote to the whole college because I never know where our students are actually living and where they're going to college. Any other questions about that piece?
Well, it's funny you mentioned a general job fair because I know we have a couple of rural Minnesota SEP folks on, and Brenda actually dropped in the chat that they are hosting a job fest in May, and she asked, could we create an account, an event to promote that?
That
You
would be really
could,
we'd be
and
able,
then also send it to me.
I can
And
send it to you, Sue.
Perfect. I'll look at my email in a minute because I'm a little busy right now, but I will look at that in a minute.
Thank you.
The other thing that I want to show you is I want to go to the M-State homepage. So if you go to minnesota.edu, spelled that out, minnesota.edu, you will come to the M-State homepage. And the one thing that I want to point out is under Learn at M-State, there's a drop-down menu here, and I want to focus on our programs and degrees. I am really interested in promoting internships and opportunities for students that relate to our majors. Because they can really find a lot of different part-time jobs in many different areas or jobs that don't relate. And one of the things that we do have to be careful for is that students aren't sucked away and don't finish their education by taking another job that wouldn't allow them to finish their education or to be enticed away. But if you're looking to see what we have offered, you can search degrees by campus. You can use that filter. Or you can take a look at the different categories, the program cluster, if you're looking for something in particular, or you can simply type in a keyword. And then once you go to one of our courses, so I'll just go to Diesel Technology, since I talked about them already. You will find out information about the program and you'll get an overview of what the program is all about. But if you click on the course description, you will be able to see what the courses are that they have to take. And you can even click on a course and read more details about it. So if you're looking for a specific skill set, this is a very good technique or place to go to find out what we offer and then what students are learning and to see if there's a match to what you're looking for. Does anybody have any questions about our website? All right, so I just put into the chat my business card, a picture of my business card, so you can connect that way. And then I put in the handout. Did those come through?
I'm not seeing them. Oh, they just popped in there. And I can
Okay.
send those out as well, and we do a follow-up
Perfect.
email, so I'll send
Yep.
those in the follow-up email too.
All right, sounds good.
All right. And then I guess, Sue, more broadly too, it sounds like you have enough going on, but what other types within career services, kind of your department of one, how else are you supporting students to do some of that, like career searching, career navigating, some of that stuff?
Yeah, so I have partnerships with faculty members and we find places in their curriculum where it makes sense for this type of work to be done. So I focus mostly on helping students to create job search materials, to understand how to interview and be competitive, and then to understand the job search process and where to look and how to look. So that's my primary role. I don't help students decide on a major or a career goal. That's something that our counselors do. in this realm. That's something I used to do at another institution, another 4-year institution. But here, my focus is more narrowed. And thank goodness, because I literally wouldn't be able to do anything more with that. But we do offer, I do classroom presentations. I do have some online materials that students would look at, and I do offer feedback both in person or online. From time to time, we might have a mock interview. So students would have a 15-minute interview with a business professional, and I'm always looking for volunteers for some of those areas. And then, of course, the networking events where we match students or put students with employers in the same room for them to learn about opportunities. Some other kind of special fun things that we've been working on or that I've had a chance to do in the last couple of years is a mentorship program where we have worked with, most recently, we've worked with nursing students and women in IT. We're hoping to expand that to a couple different areas in the fall, but we have had a couple different grants that have allowed us to do that and provide stipends for students and for volunteers. So that's kind of the scope of my job.
Sounds like a lot.
It kind of is.
But yeah, but I definitely
this week.
appreciate the overview. Yeah. So, and spring, I'm glad we had you on now because it sounds like spring is a great time for our employers to kind of get connected to Handshake and start that process, as
Yeah,
you'll
I'll make
have
one more
quite a few
comment.
folks. Yeah.
Our graduation is the first week in May. So our students are finished in the first week in May. And a lot of times students are already looking for jobs. They may already have jobs. And some students postpone that whole job search until they are finished because they literally can't juggle another thing. So I would say that the hottest time to look for jobs is probably now, between now and probably the middle of June. Then there's a little bit of a slump. In the fall, people always will call me and they'll say, I need a grad in diesel. And I'm like, yeah, they're already gone. Those people already have jobs. You kind of missed that boat. But you can certainly post those positions, and our alumni can also take advantage of the site too.
Sure. Yeah. So great timing. All right. Any other questions for Sue?
Can I ask a question? Am I allowed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sue, we have a number of employers on the call, like we mentioned earlier. So if they were interested, is it best just to email you back? You sent your contact information. We'll get that out to the whole group. But if somebody is willing to give some time for those mock interviews, or just however the employer wants to support your work and connect with those students and support those students, is it best just send you a quick email and say, hey, I'm from blank employer. We'd love to help. Let us know. Is that
Yeah,
what you should
and I usually call for them when I need them because this is not always an ongoing ongoing thing here. But just give me a minute here. I'm looking for my own LinkedIn.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking for my own LinkedIn profile here. Well, you can just find me under Sue Zern on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to connect with you. So that's one way, because a lot of times I'll just post it on my LinkedIn page when I'm looking for people, and otherwise I would, here it is. Oh, sorry, can't dance and clap at the same time.
That's all right. And I know we're connected on LinkedIn, Sue, and I've seen those. So
yeah,
I can
here's my
affirm that.
LinkedIn
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, feel free to connect that way.
Yep. Okay. Good. Thanks, Sue.
You're welcome.
And I'll give just a little testimonial, Sarah, going back to Lisa's comments earlier about the sharing about the program and the reimbursement for internships. We had the 2 interns that Sarah had their photos up earlier, and it was an extremely simple process, and really appreciate it, Lisa, and through the chamber and the funders of that program. So I encourage folks to take advantage of it. It's a very simple way to help get that intern on in your organization.
All right. Well, on that note, if we don't have any other questions for Sue, or I suppose either one of our other speakers, me or Lisa, we will go ahead and wrap up a little bit early. But as I mentioned, we'll send in follow-up, we'll send some information out, both the slides that were shared, and then the handout that Sue shared as well. And then we recorded today, so we'll send a meeting recording out as well. So if anything was useful and you want to make sure someone from your business also gets to review the information, feel free to share the recorded link with them as well. But thanks again to everyone jumping on today. We appreciate a lot having these convenings and pulling folks together quarterly to just share the resources and make sure we're keeping our eyes on those solutions as things evolved in the workforce development realm. So thank you again to Lisa and to Sue for joining today, and to everyone else for hopping on to listen to some good information. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Hey, Sarah,
Yeah,
I'm wondering if I should join your group.
absolutely. I
The
was just
ca-
going to say I'm kind of surprised that we didn't have